All right, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Hakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Hey, Shalom. This lesson just going into updates on the Neuralink. We're constantly watching. As a watchman, as a man of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, you're constantly watching everything that comes on the horizon. Matter of fact, I think I might start there. So, just kind of put this together. This is just recent news. So, just I have some precepts together, but kind of just flowing in the spirit. And these are beautiful times. Yesterday, Lord willing, Yahweh Shemiah Shai puts the spirit on me. And there was you had blackouts from Portugal, from different cities in Portugal, different cities in Spain, and I think a little bit of France. They were all blackouts, and it was beautiful to see those things. And I remember, I think a few weeks back, maybe a few months ago, that they were warning in the EU to pack supplies for 72 hours, about basically 3 days. And to see these things happen, they give you this warning, and then something happens, but anyway, just these are beautiful times. What you see happening, and Lord willing, these are the times of the end where we're gonna see the destruction of Babylon, the great America, and the return of Yahushai, or the Savior of the Israelites. So this is Habakkuk chapter 2, and verse 1, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. So the point of this is you're a watchman, you're standing watch. And everything that happens around the world, you're giving an answer to it. And Yahweh Ba'Shem Al-Shai answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. So, in other words, you're watching the prophecies, watching them happen. You're a watchman. This is the office we've been set to do. Watch the different events happening, and the things that are written upon the tables. These scriptures are written, and we're breaking them down plainly. Verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So in other words, the prophecies that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai gave to his men to speak into the world, these things, they take some time to come to pass, but that doesn't mean they're not going to happen. The MOTB. The MOTB was prophesied about 2,000 years ago. And now we're seeing it come to pass. We're seeing this come to fruition. Jacob's trouble, prophesied thousands of years ago. And we're seeing these things come to pass. Different kingdoms coming and going. We've seen them prophesied about. We can read about those in history. The revived Roman Empire. We're living in that now, which was prophesied about in the scriptures. So you see all these things come to pass. So what do you think is to happen next? The kingdom of heaven. This is what's up next. All these things are leading up to the kingdom of heaven. But anyway, this is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, and I'll start at 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. And that falling away was the fall of Jerusalem, 70 AD, the siege of Jerusalem. When all the Israelites that were there, the remaining Israelites, were scattered into the interiors of Africa. We completely fell away from our heritage. We lost everything. This is what this is referring to. And now in these last days, we're waking back up to who we once were and who we are and what's getting ready to take place. And who that man of sin is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. He's the Malachi. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. Malachi 1 and verse 4 says, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai have indignation forever. So this is, Yahweh has a hatred, a pure righteous hatred towards Esau Edom, the so-called white man. And they're also known as the border of wickedness. Wherever they go, wherever they are, wickedness is right there with them. They're at the center of wickedness. And then also, Job 9 and 24, just for time's sake, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. That's Esau Edom. If you look at the conditions, the conditions of the earth, you can, if you got eyes to see it, you can plainly see that the righteous are not in authority. The people are mourning. So again, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he, as the Most High, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. So this man, back to Job 9 and 24, I didn't get it, but the second part of that is he covereth the faces of the judges. So this man has done everything in his power to destroy the images, which iconoclasm, and also Renaissance art going into rebirth. He's done everything to put his image up, to put himself that he is God, when the scriptures say otherwise. This is the man of perdition. This is the man of wickedness. So I'm going to jump down to verse verse 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, and this is the last time, the last days, he's being revealed now, through whistleblowers, his own actions, through history, through the spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, revealing this man. Who is he? Who is this man that's done all this wickedness in the earth? Under his rule, cancer rates are up, autism, all kinds of wickedness, moral behavior, adultery, all kinds of wicked abominations are running rampant through the earth. And who's ruling? Him, Esau Edom. So, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with his spirit, with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So he's being consumed now by the prophets, by the word of the scriptures. And when Yahushua returns, he's going to completely obliterate this nigga. And those that remain, those that survive of Esau Edom, they're going to go into slavery. So verse 9, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. So let's see here, whose working is after Satan. So this, energeia, says operation, working efficiency. So this man's works is really after Satan, and this man, he props himself up like he's really helping, but everything that he does is deceitful, is a trick. And you go into Satan, that's talking about a man who's like a Satan-like man, a man who plays the part of the devil, with all power. Let's look at his power. Dynamis G1411 says the strength, the ability, the inherent power residing in a thing, power for performing miracles. So this devil has the power to perform miracles, not like how Yahushua did it, not through the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, but through the power of Satan, through his technology. To make things look a certain way, through witchcraft. Because he's not truly healing anybody. He's making them things worse. Signs. Let's see here. G4592 Simeon says a sign, a mark, that which a person, a sign, a prodigy, portent, unusual occurrence, signs of signs portending remarkable events soon. Okay, so this is just signs and miracles and lying wonders. Let's see that pseudos G5579 pseudos, a falsehood, a lie, and you have what you call pseudoscience, pseudopigraphica, meaning a fake writing, and pseudoscience meaning false science. When you say something is pseudoscience, you just like, man, that's bootleg shit. That shit ain't even real. And wonders, let's look at that word. Terrace, G5059, and it's also a miracle. So he has false miracles. Verse 10, with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they believed not the love, or they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. So, Salaki, let me start up again. It says, even him, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 9, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. So the only people that are going to fall for this are the people that aren't of the elect. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. No, it's Matthew 24. Matthew 24 and 24. For there shall arise false messiahs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. So it's not possible to deceive the elect, because they're already sealed by Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. No one can pluck them out of Yahweh's hands. No one can pluck them out of Yahushai's hands. The elect are, they're not gonna be fooled. But if it were possible, but it's not. So back to, but that's pretty much it for that. Let me go to the video now. It's about 9 minutes, but I'm not gonna play all of it just for time's sake. I'm play just a few minutes of it. This is a video titled Elon Musk makes ALS talk again, and showing he makes him talk again, giving credit to Elon Musk. And people look at Trump, Elon Musk, people like this, they look at them as messiahs. They're looking at Trump, which is kind of wearing away. They're looking at him like he's gonna make America great again. This is our savior. People looking at them like they're the saviors, they're messiahs. So this is Elon Musk makes ALS talk again. Nonverbal ALS patient uses Neuralink to create and narrate video. So here it is, a person that he lost his ability to speak, which I'm just gonna play the video.
Hi, I am Brad Smith. I'm the third person in the world to receive the Neuralink implant. I'm also the first person with ALS and the first nonverbal, which means that I rely on it for all communication. I am making this video using the brain-computer interface to control the mouse on my MacBook Pro. This is the first video edited with the Neuralink, and maybe the first edited with a BCI. This is my old voice narrating this video, cloned by AI from recordings before I lost my voice. I want to explain how Neuralink has impacted my life and give you an overview of how it works. I have ALS, a really weird disease that kills the motor neurons that control my muscles, but not affecting my mind. My experience has been pretty interesting, starting with a shoulder injury that would not heal and ending up with my current status. I cannot move anything but my eyes, and I am totally reliant on a ventilator to keep me alive and breathing. My wife, Tiffany, is the best caregiver I could ever imagine. She does everything for me, with only our kids and friends and family to help. She is the key to making Neuralink work. I will stop talking about her because she doesn't like the attention. Before Neuralink, I had to use an eye gaze control computer for all communication. It is a miracle of technology, but it is frustrating. It works best in dark rooms. So I was basically Batman. I was stuck in a dark room. Neuralink lets me go outside and ignore lighting changes. So how does Neuralink work? The implant is in my motor cortex, which is the part of my brain that controls body movement. The actual implant is the size of 5 US quarters in a stack. It replaced the hole in my skull. The threads are placed by a robot just a few millimeters into my brain, avoiding the blood vessels so there is almost no bleeding. It connects to the computer via Bluetooth, and the computer does a lot of processing. This is a feed from the 1024 electrodes in my brain. In green, it looks like the Matrix. This is the raw signal that my brain is giving the computer. The computer has to decide what is important, finding the signal and ignoring the noise. The Neuralink implant embedded in my brain contains 1024 electrodes that capture neuron firings every 15 milliseconds, generating a vast amount of data. AI processes this data on a connected MacBook Pro to decode my intended movements in real time to move the cursor on my screen. Neuralink does not read my deepest thoughts or words I think about. It just reads how I want to move and moves the cursor where I want. How do I train the system? This is how I train the system to interpret my intended movements. I move the cursor to the bubble and hold over it until it disappears. The yellow targets are just for holding over, and the blue targets are for clicking. We initially tried to move my hand to control the cursor, but it was not doing well. After a lot of research and mapping how body movements match the signals from my brain, Neuralink engineers found that my tongue was the best for moving the cursor, and clenching my jaw was best for clicking. So I trained the system with my tongue, and it works much better. I am not actively thinking about my tongue, just like you don't think about your wrist when you move a mouse. I have done a lot of cursor movements in my life. I think my brain has switched over to subconscious control quickly, so I just think about moving the cursor. This is WebGrid. It is the way Neuralink.
All right, so anyway, that's pretty much all I'm gonna play from the video. You see the guy, he couldn't talk. Now he has AI voice from his old voice, and you see the comments. They're saying this is a miracle. Thank Jesus. Of course, these blind people are thanking Jesus. They don't have any clue about the scriptures. They think this is a miracle. They think that it is. But this is a left-hand side miracle, a left-handed miracle. This is not. But anyway, back to the scriptures. You see what this is, what it's leading to. You see all these people. Wow, this is amazing. And even the guy, he can control the computer now off his tongue and his eyes and this and that. But you still paralyzed, nigga. You still can't talk. You got to use a machine. You still got to have somebody change your diaper. Anyway, this is Revelation 13:13. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. So this is speaking of the beast. And this here is speaking of the missiles. Being able to rain fire down from heaven. And I believe this happened first, that was televised in, I want to say Bosnia, back in the 90s. I don't remember exactly, but but anyway, this man has this speaking of this beast system, which is headed by Esau Edom, the so-called white man, the revival of the Roman Empire. Verse 14, and deceiveth them. So this is the power that he has to do. He can make He can do wonders. He can make fire come down from heaven. He can rain missiles on you. Now he has laser weapons. Has direct energy weapons. He can make this stuff happen. He can burn down your village without even being there. You know? And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. So he has power to do these miracles. Let's look at these miracles again. Simeon, the same word looked up in the 2 Thessalonians for signs and wonders. Let's look at the word for deceive. G4105 planao says to cause to stray, to lead astray, to lead aside from the right. So this devil has the power to lead you astray through his television, through his media, through his witchcraft, through the miracle he's able to perform. But he's gonna lead you. You see, these people already. If you're led astray, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai ain't want you. You're not one of his. You know, that's your lot. If you get led astray, that's your lot. But our job is to give the warning. So, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. So, you people are being deceived. You think this is a miracle that Jesus, which of course, who the world calls Jesus, he'd be down with this. Caesar Borgia, he'd be down with this. Yahweh Shai, no. He sent his men to warn against this. He was against the Romans. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by the sword and did live. Verse 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So basically, they're bringing back the Roman Empire through what you have the infrastructure, the political systems, malls, the Colosseums. They're bringing this back to life. They're bringing Rome back to life. You know, many of the words here in English go back to Latin. You know, this is all going back to ancient Rome. You even have fast food goes back to ancient Rome. Even the political system I mentioned, but you have the presidents, which goes back to the Caesars, the Senate, which goes back to the ancient Senate. You know, things like that. The two-party system, which goes back to Greece. But this is the point here. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. So you see this man, the Neuralink, this was implanted in his head. And right now, you know, it's just looking like, oh, this is a miracle. Oh, this is cool. This is cool new technology. But what's getting ready to happen is the monetary system is going to change. It's going to switch to digital. Your regular plastic IDs, that's not going to be enough anymore. You're going to need to be scanned. Your biometrics are going to need to be read. All your information on this, when you look at that word from Mark, which is, I'm not going to go to it, which is charagma, it means an imprinted thing. This is that RFID micro chip. Also the Neuralink, but you also have other companies, not just Neuralink, that are working on this technology, that are doing it better than Neuralink. Just Neuralink gets a lot of publicity. Just look at Elon. He's constantly in the news. It's constantly getting publicity, but this is one of many. So your information, which is going to be all on this, going to Grapho, which you have Charax, part of that word charagma, you have charax, which means an incision, which means the delivery method, that syringe, or them cutting into you. And then grapho, which is the written information that's on on that chip. It's going to have your ID, your name, your phone number, whatever, your biometrics, your heart rate. It's going to be able to read all that stuff. It's the same thing like the guy that had to just here. It's able to read his thoughts and translate what he's saying. You know, it's able to do all these things. It's a miracle. So, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So you're not going to be able to participate in the society when this drops, when this becomes mandatory. And you think it can't happen? Just remember a few years ago, from 2019 to what, 2021, maybe, however long it was, you couldn't go into places without the mask. They were trying to, certain places, you couldn't use cash because they were saying, oh, we don't have change. You got to use your card. You had to stand a certain feet apart. If you didn't get tested, you couldn't be trusted. And you think this won't happen again and worse? That was just a trial run. So this is I had a few more precepts because this is that's all on the left hand side. What you seeing was left-handed miracles. So let me make sure I had it. But this is when John the Baptist was thrown into prison, he sent his disciples to ask of Yahushua and if he was really the Messiah. Matthew 11 and verse 2. Now when John had heard in the prison the works of Hamashiach, he sent two of his disciples and said unto him, art thou he that should come, or do we look for another? So this is what John sent his disciples to ask of Yahushua. It's like, are you the Messiah, or do we continue looking? Yahushua answered and said unto them, go and show John again those things which ye do hear and see. So he says, go and tell John, which I'll just keep reading. Verse 5, the blind receive their sight, and the lame walk, and lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear, and the dead are raised up. The poor have the gospel preached unto them. So these are all miracles, but these are right-hand miracles. These are righteous miracles. You know, people that are truly healed. No, how Esau Edom always has something in the details where it's going to give you cancer. Something's going to mess you up later on. The wires get messed up and shorted out. Now you paralyzed again. No, these people were healed. And this is also, you see this on the left-hand side that Esau Edom is trying to do because he has the technology now. Esau Edom can heal blind people through the Neuralink. He can make people walk through the Neuralink and whatever other technology. Putting the chips in the brain. Lepers are cleansed, which Esau Edom thinks a leper is a person with a bunch of scabs and their skin falling off. Which, that's just, a leper is like Esau. You got your pigment is gone. People with vitiligo, that's a leper. Which you have different kinds of leprosy, but that's the main thing. You losing your pigment. And the deaf hear. Also, what he can do with the Neuralink. And the dead are raised up. Which Esau Edom, you might say he can do that, but he probably can. But how is he going to do that right now? Through AI. and the poor have the gospel preached unto them. So this is the miracles that Yahushua did through the power of Yahweh, his Father. And this is Mark chapter 3 and verse 22. And the scribes which came down from Jerusalem said, He hath Beelzebub, and by the prince of the devils he casteth out devils. So these scribes are accusing Yahushua of being a devil, of having a spirit of the devil, which that's the spirit that Esau Edom has. And he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, How can Satan cast out Satan? So if you look at Esau Edom, he's playing a part of the devil, and he's working for the devil. So he's not really casting out these demons. You see his miracle, oh, this person can talk again and this and that, even though it's not even his voice. It's an AI voice. He can't even walk. He has to use a machine. He's not truly healed. Matter of fact, it's going to be worse off for him. Let me get this real quick, because if I spell it right, it's like I'm a little excited. This is Revelation chapter 16 and verse 2. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. So those people, everybody that gets the mark, them implants, it don't matter what kind they get, where they get it, they're going to get noisome and grievous sores. So let's look at this. Noisome, G2556, kakos, which means worthless, depraved, bad, of a bad nature, troublesome, injurious, destructive, baneful. So they're going to get, it's bad. It's going to be bad for those people. And sore, look at this. G1668, helkos, says an ulcer, a wound producing a discharge or pus. In other words, this is going into a cancer. They're going to get different types of cancer from this, and it's going to get infected. It's going to be wounded. It's going to be bad infections, like bad, terrible. I remember seeing a video. I forgot what the person was calling themselves. It's like a left anonym. This person that was doing, she was doing her own biometric implants. So she didn't go to a place to do it. She's basically like the petri dish herself before all this become popular. And she was receiving funding from different organizations or whatever to do all this stuff. But she's doing this, putting the chips in herself. And one of the chips that she did, she didn't sterilize it right. She didn't clean it. And it got infected. And she was saying like her whole arm or her veins, whatever it was, it got infected and it pretty much turned green. And you could see the shit going through her arms. Like the infected blood. It was nasty how she's talking about it. I don't remember if she took a video of it or whatever, but this is going to be bad for these people that get this. So also, and that's not the end of it. Let's see here. Revelation, where was it? 14. Revelation 14 and verse 9, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. So you're going to get this straight no chaser. You're going to get this punishment. If you take this MOTB, you're going to get not only the cancer, the grievous sores, that's not the end. You're going to receive this full straight punishment, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. So you get this, MOTB, you're going to be destroyed along with Babylon by the thermonuclear destruction. Those ICBMs. You're gonna get destroyed right along with this place. But that's because you were led astray by Satan. And Yahweh Shem Yahushai ain't want you. He wants you for this judgment that's coming. That's your purpose. Your sole purpose was just to get burnt up. To get the C-hip, get infected, get ultra cancer or whatever, and then get burnt up. So you're hey, I don't want to be in that. But that was it on that. Let's see here, and I'll close out with this. This is John chapter 14 and verse 12. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, believe on Yahushai, the works that I do shall he do also. So you believe on Yahushai, which you seen it in the apostles, in the Acts of the apostles. They were doing miracles. Yahushai's disciples that became apostles were doing miracles. So verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto the Father. So even the works that Yahushai did, you don't think those miracles, Esau Edom has miracles to do, or has power to do miracles in these days? You don't think that Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to open up the spirit, allow his men to perform miracles, true miracles? And even Yahushai is saying, you're going to do these miracles, and you're going to do greater miracles. So Esau Edom's coming out with this all this stuff, and you can expect to see greater things. You can expect to see the men of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, starting with the apostles on down, apostles of Great Millstone on down, to be doing miracles. To be healing. So that's pretty much it for the lesson. I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakak, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Hey, Shalom.